all these dudes that are abusing TRT, that are abusing steroids, peptides, they think they're walking around all masculine. They're not. Okay, when you are drug dependent, that weakens your masculinity. So in this video, I want to show you what to do with your diet so you don't copy these druggies. Because if you're natty, you can't follow their prescription. And if you're one of them druggies, and why are you watching this, dog? This ain't for you, right? So this is for the natural dude who is not seeing their results, and maybe you have low T because of this, because that's the reality. Now the druggies, right, these clowns right here, they can do stuff differently. They can crash calories. This happens a lot. Crash dieting is what we call it. They can slash fat. They do this a lot. And then, of course, the classic, they can overtrain. Now, you can't follow this, you guys, okay, because their drugs, it buffers the damage. Plain and simple. So naturals, we need to rely on a more stable physiology, because we rely on our internal hormonal support. So this means that we need to do things differently. And if you follow the drug addicts and their diet advice, well, your hormones are at risk, right? And it's not going to be a good day. It's going to be a bad day, all right? So keep watching, guys. Again, this is for the natural dude. If you're a drug addict, if you're abusing this crap, why are you watching this? Get off the fucking channel, because this ain't for you, dog. It just ain't for you. So what happens to us when we run these kind of diets? When a natural runs a drug addict cut, our testosterone drops. Cortisol rises. Now this can happen with appropriate natural dieting as well, but it happens more whenever you copy these clowns, right? Muscle loss can accelerate. Your libido growth, that drops, guys. It goes down. And you don't want that to go down. And your recovery drops. So here's the reality. Most men are not broken, okay? But everyone's going to tell you that you are, especially these scam telehealth clinics that we're seeing that have popped up the last few years. They're going to tell you that you're broken. But in many cases, and in this video, we're speaking mainly about the diet, right? I mean, there's a lot to this. Your lifestyle habits, if you have high body fat, if you're not sleeping. But this is primarily about how you are dieting, if that's what you're doing. But most men are not broken. They're just copying what the enhanced do, their protocols. And what happens is when you do that, then you diet and you do their training programs and you get a hormonal test and you'll see low T and you panic and you think, ooh, I have low T, I have to get on TRT. And the reality is, and this goes into lifestyle as well, so this also applies to guys that are not even dieting, they're just over fat and they're not training, they're not sleeping. But most men, they don't look at what they have been doing. What resulted in low testosterone? And instead of trying to exhaust all options the natural way, they go straight to the TRT, which, FYI, decreases masculinity. It doesn't increase it. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I don't give a fuck what anyone's trying to sell you and feed you. All these dudes that are abusing TRT, that are abusing steroids, peptides, they think they're walking around all masculine. They're not. Okay, when you are drug dependent, that weakens your masculinity. And then TRT and steroids especially gives you those small balls. That's not masculinity. You're going the other direction, dog. Like, you're getting more feminine, right? You're neutering yourself. But the reality is, most men are not broken. And again, I believe when you're older, there is a therapeutic dosage for men who have truly low testosterone. I'm not against that. But how come we're seeing dudes in their 20s, 30s, and 40s magically have low T and they get convinced to hop on TRT? What is going on, guys? Most of you are not broken. And honestly, this video really is for those of you who are on the fence. This is really who this video is for. Like, you're on the fence. Like, you've been natural, you don't really want to do it, but you have these symptoms, you have this stuff going on, maybe you did a hormonal test, and you're on the fence, maybe should I do it? Once you go on, you're not coming off. That's it. It's forever. You want to be dependent? Hey, if that's what you want to do, cool. I urge you not to. I think it's weak. When you're younger, the reality is, if it's true deficiency, and it typically happens when you're older, not in your 30s, not in your 40s, and sometimes even in your 50s. I have a client, he's 56, 55, 54, somewhere in there, one of those 50s. His natural testosterone is 597. That's what it just tested 2 weeks ago. Of course, he started training, he got leaner, things improved, but he's almost at 600. Like, and he's in his 50s. A lot of this can be fixed through lifestyle, you guys. So if you're on the fence, right, and you're in your 20s, 30s, or even 40s, you are not broken. More than likely, you are not broken. It's not 100% all the time, but I'm telling you, you are not broken. You just need to change and tweak things. And don't let any of these motherfuckers, these drug pushers, convince you, right? You need to exhaust all other options and give it time. You have to give it time. Okay? So there is hope for you. Don't think that you have to resort to hopping on some drugs. And once you do, again, you are dependent forever. Is that how you want to run your life? Like, if you have to and you're older, that's one thing. But being dependent in your 30s, like, you have another, 40, 50 years to live? That's crazy. That is absolutely insane to me that anybody would want that. Okay, so I advise you don't do that and you exhaust all other options. So what natural lifters actually need is, we'll go through this one by one, and this is just a few things. It's not every single, list here. You need to stop, but this is number one for sure. You need to stop listening to the druggies. Stop listening to the drug addicts. The majority of these clowns online, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, wherever, they're using shit. They're abusing shit. It doesn't apply to you. Stop listening to them. Stop looking up to them. Stop admiring them. They are drug addicts. They are not healthy for society. They are drug pushing on their clients if they're coaches. They're drug pushing on you just because they are influencers, drug influencers. Stop listening to them. They are not role models. They're not what we need, okay? They don't have your best interest at heart. So, after we covered that, we're talking about mainly diet here, guys. Adequate energy availability, okay? So we have to have enough calories coming in. I'm gonna get into this stuff. We need sufficient dietary fat. This kind of goes with number 2. Controlled deficits. Number 5, we need quality sleep. Number 6, no overtraining. Okay. Now, again, just a few things, but we're mainly talking about the food situation here. Now, drug addict diets are buffered by the drugs they abuse. Natural physiology, it cannot play by the same game, okay? Which goes back to number 1. You guys got to stop listening to these dudes. Okay, so again, it's not applicable to you if you are natural. You need to find, I'm not the only person here. There are natural drug-free coaches out there who know their shit. Seek those people out. Stop paying attention to the drug addicts. So we have the natty versus druggy food pyramid here. Okay. Now, I know some of you shouldn't be watching this because some of you are experts. And that's cool. You know it all. Great. Love it. Make your own YouTube channel. Post up. Make your own videos. Teach us the ways. But you won't. You'll talk shit. So I have all these videos here for y'all to talk your shit. Talk your shit on my physique. Right? Go watch the other video that I posted the other day. It's in the gym. I'm going to post more. So I'm going to feed you guys. I'm going to feed you guys some content so y'all just can talk your shit. Talk your shit because you guys are experts. Now, for those of you who want to learn, who like what I have to say, perfect. Sit down. Let's learn some shit. But I know some of you got something to say about everything that I teach here. That's fine. Spread your hate. I get it. I hate too. We all just hate. It's okay. So do what you got to do and I'll do what I got to do. Okay? So we have these 2 food pyramids. Okay? So we have the natty pyramid for the food. Then we have the druggy pyramid for the food. And again, these are like strategy pyramids, kind of like the hypertrophy pyramids. These are strategy pyramids. So over here we have J Natty, right? J Natty. Happy, lots of hair, right? I hair is getting longer like it used to be. I used to have really long hair. I've actually had long hair like 4 times. This is my 5th time growing it out. 41, baby. I still got those hair gains. Yeah, I'm losing some hair. Yeah, it's not perfect, but goddamn, I'm 41. Again, if you all want to talk some shit, post up at 41 years old. Let's see how your hair gains are, right? Anyway, so we got Jay Natty right here. Right? And Jay Natty's got some big old fucking balls. I'll tell you what. Big old nuts, guys, right? That's how we do it, because we are natural. We're not shutting that stuff off. My balls work. And if your balls still work, you should be fucking proud. I'm serious. Because right there, that's part of being masculine. Having your own nuts produce testosterone, like, that's good shit right there, guys. Okay? Then we got Kevin Druggy. We all know Kevin Druggy. It's the bro in the gym. I'm a bro too. Okay, guys? Like, just to let you know, I'm also a bro. I'm really not deep into the science. I love the science. I love the research. I've written some papers, some books. I can geek out on it, but I'm not like this, PhD and, oh, well, that's not true because of, no, I don't do that. So Kevin Druggy, I'm not like that. He's kind of sad, If you watch my other videos, the drug addict, he's just not happy because he's bald. In fact, he probably doesn't have any hair. You know what? No hair. Right? And then, of course, part of the reason why he's not happy because he's got these small little nads, because they're not producing, guys. They ain't producing any testosterone. Kevin Druggy thinks he's masculine. Kevin Druggy walks around the gym and just fucking looks at everybody. He thinks he's tough, thinks he's masculine, right? Thinks he's alpha. It's not the case. I've seen many Kevin Druggies, many a time. They'll come in the gym and, 1 month, they're small and they start using some shit, and after a couple months, but they walk into the gym and they're just kind of pouty and, they're just kind of like walking around not looking at anybody and just kind of moping. And then like 2 months after they get on some shit and they get some muscles, some fake muscles, synthetic muscles, right? Non-alpha muscles, they are walking around like their fucking chins up and their chest is up and they're like, it's all fake, guys, okay? It's all fake. It's fake masculinity is what it is. Anyway, so we have Jay Natty, big balls, lots of hair. Kevin Druggy, no hair, small balls. That is the dichotomy, okay? There we are. We are not the same, for sure. Now, the goal is body recomposition. That is the goal for all of us, who are quote unquote bodybuilding. I love it when it changes slides and it's not supposed to, so surprise, surprise, cat's out of the bag. But look, body recomp is the same goal for most of us. Most of us are going into the gym and we want to change how we look. And if it's bodybuilding goals, that's why most of us as trainers, they come to us, right? Most people come to us because they want to change how they look. They want a transformation. Yeah, these other, things go with it, maybe greater mobility or more strength, greater bone density, healthier, all the above. And all those things change in conjunction with the change in body composition. But make no mistake, most people come to us for the reason of changing how they look. Now, for some people, like men, that's, more muscle and maybe a bit leaner. For women, they don't want to gain a ton of muscle, but be a little leaner as well. So the difference is in how much fat we want to lose and how much muscle we want to gain, it differs. However, it's still body recomposition, less fat, more muscle. And that is a transformation. And so the goal for most of us, not all, the primary goal for most of us going to the gym is to look better. All right, so body recomposition. Now, how the druggie goes about it, and I'm sure I'll get some people that disagree with me, that's fine, go ahead. You know, Punk Johnny 79, you know, anonymous, go ahead, make your comment. So we have PEDS pharmacology. That is number one priority for Kevin the Druggie. Kevin the Druggie, his main weapon in his arsenal are PEDs, okay? Now that is how they change their body. Yes, they do these other things, but the biggest factor in how they are able to change body composition, get leaner, add muscle, it's PEDs, guys, okay? It's changing their pharmacology internally. Then next up is calories. And then, yeah, food sources, whatever, and timing. And maybe timing could be somewhere over here because they get fanatical about eating every 2 hours. You know, oh my God, you want to keep the metabolism stoked. You know, you don't want to go into starvation mode. Bullshit, complete bullshit. It's not even a thing, okay? So as long as macros, calories are equated across 3 meals, 2 meals, 4 meals, 10 meals, doesn't matter, okay? It's gonna be the same. So the whole stoking your metabolism, it's a bodybuilding myth that's been handed down generation to generation, and they keep it alive. So they have their stupid ass Tupperware, and they have their chicken and broccoli and rice every 2 hours. It's crazy, okay? So you might want to throw timing somewhere down there just because they're literally fanatical about that. Now for the natural, J Natty, our primary tool, calories and macros. Now, of course, a lot of people, some of you might argue, oh, it's the same for the enhanced too. You don't want to call them druggies. I call them druggies. You call them enhanced because you're politically correct. You want to be nice. Okay. So the calories, they're the main driver for us. Like I said, some people will argue it's the same for the enhanced, but really it's PEDS pharmacology, you know, optimizing that is going to be their primary tool. For us, it's going to be calories and macros. And then we move on to the source and the micros, then timing, and then supplements are last. And you can throw sups right here with their drugs. So the druggie, even though our goals are the same, the druggie nutrition advice, you guys, it doesn't serve us. It fails us, okay? And one big reason is that it tanks our natural testosterone levels. And that is something that we have to be very, very careful of. We don't want that. And if you do things wrong, that can happen, okay? Now, most of the nutrition advice is built for the enhanced lifters. High carbs, ultra low fats, and then it's endless deficits. Usually you'll see this in contest prep, but coaches will crash diet their clients even outside of contest prep. Now, this model was not built for you. It's not built for the natural. The reality is the enhanced lifters, they borrow hormones. It's fake. It's manufactured. Naturals, we have to produce them, right? So we have to produce them in these big old nads, guys, right? They don't need to produce. They have outside hormones going into their body, and their balls shrink up because they don't need to produce anything. And this is testosterone that we're speaking to primarily when it comes to the old balls and nads and testicles situation, okay? Now, this right here, how they go about their dieting, it's not for us. And this changes everything, okay? This changes, whoops. This changes how they do things, how we do things. We simply cannot do what they do. And if you copy what they do, it's going to be bad news, guys. So, recovery drops. Hormones are suppressed. And progression stalls. Okay? So, again, it's not built for you. It's built for the druggies. So one of the things that we do is we do calorie cycling, okay? Cycling caloric intake. So naturals can't sustain deficits for endless weeks because hormonally it wrecks us. Okay, it's not good. Now, men, we can bounce back better than women can, but it still hurts us. Women are more sensitive to this. We are less sensitive. That's been my experience. Now, this matters more as you get leaner, but the key to recomping, the key is to shift back and forth from deficit to maintenance. So we go up and down, basically. Now, a calorie deficit, you have to remember, guys, is a stressful signal. So we need it for fat loss. It's required for fat loss. But it's still stressful, right? It's still a stress signal. Long-term progression requires returning back to a maintenance level. And this restores hormones and recovery because naturals, we can't sustain prolonged energy restriction without accumulating this physiological stress, okay? And again, this is more important the leaner that you are, all right? As far as how you navigate your diet, calorie cycling, macros, all of that. So naturals must prioritize recovery physiology. Because quite simply, we don't abuse drugs. Guys, these drugs, they help these guys recover more than you realize, okay? So we don't have the cheat code to support this protein synthesis, hormone stability. We gotta rely on our natural physiology, and we have to be smart about it. Okay, so we keep protein high. Okay, now we keep it consistently high to ensure that there's a constant supply of amino acids for repair, adaptation, muscle retention, and we do that mainly, or for both deficit and maintenance phases. So this doesn't really move. It stays static. And our fat is also kept high because this supports hormonal health, right? And nervous system function and long-term recovery capacity. I mean, this is something we have to rely on, guys. So we pretty much keep this static as well. And carbs are adjusted up and down, and they serve as performance fuel, okay? And it goes up and down depending on the calorie target that we're at, okay? So these two pretty much stay static. There's some playing with them a little bit, but mainly it's going to be the carbohydrates. So we'll go through the exact profile here. So again, protein, guys, keep it high because it protects muscle. And the druggies do this too, so that's really no different. Fats, protects hormones. Carbs support performance. Okay. Now, if you're natural, we need to prioritize the physiological stability first, then adjust carbs to match training output. So really, our focus is protein and fats. And then we have carbs go up and down to match what we're doing, our output, right? So this is a good ratio. And again, I'm sure someone's got something to fucking say. So go ahead and say it. Tell me where I'm wrong. Point to it. Make a video, okay? So protein, we're gonna keep around 40%. Fat, we're gonna keep around 30 to 40%. And then carbs are the balance, okay? So again, we keep protein high, static, fat high, static, and carbs go up and down. Fats can kind of go up and down a little bit, maybe protein up a little bit higher depending on how lean you get. Maybe we want to push protein up a little bit higher to have more muscle retention properties. So it all depends. Now, the druggy diet profiles are typically high in protein, like I said, so that doesn't change, but they're super low in fats, and they're really high in carbs, okay? We do not want low fat as naturals. We don't want that. We need fat to help support hormone production. I already mentioned this stuff. Nervous system function. Cell membranes, long-term recovery. Like, the list keeps going on and on, guys. So naturals have a fat minimum that we can't violate. This is very important. If you got anything from this video, make sure you understand this. We have a fat minimum that we should not violate. All right. So if you drop it below, then you could have suppression, okay? So dietary fat plays a direct role in supporting steroid hormonal production. And when intake stays chronically low, for fats, the endocrine system, the stress begins to increase, okay? Which is that suppression that we're talking about, suppresses. So the suppression becomes even more pronounced under a calorie deficit, where the body is already receiving a stress signal from the reduced energy availability. But then you make it even worse if in that deficit you bring the fats down too, okay? Now the leaner you get, it becomes more of an issue. The margin for error becomes greater. So having more aggressive low-fat dieting, if you will, it carries progressively greater hormonal consequences. So if you're in this deficit and you drop below your fat minimum, you're going to have some issues. Hormone stress, it's not working right. Recovery drops. Libido declines. And ultimately, your progression stalls. Okay, and I've already gone through a couple of these. For most dudes, the practical fat floor during a cut typically lands between, typically, this is not like a blanket statement, all right, phone warrior, you got that? So 55 grams, or I'm sorry, 50 to 65 grams per day. Depending on body weight and total caloric intake, it can be even higher than that. Okay, so we adjust it based off of where you're at with your body composition. This includes weight and where the other macros are at. Okay, but this is typically for some people the minimum, for some guys the minimum is 65. For some, depending if you don't weigh as much, it could be 50. Okay, but we have a fat minimum for naturals. And if you drop below it, you're going to run into some problems. So the druggies, can they push the fats low? And they push the carbs high. So they are limited by fuel availability. And this, so they don't need the fats for hormones, right? For stable hormonal production and stability, essentially. They don't need it for hormonal production and stability. So they drop those fats low, so they make up the rest of the calories with their carbs. And honestly, this makes sense because they do high volume workouts, right, which requires glucose, glycogen, carbs. Because they're in the gym for 2 hours. A lot of these guys are doing high volume 5-6 days a week, so they need the carbs to sustain what they're doing. Now, natties, we are limited by our physiological recovery capacity. Okay, so high volume is not the way to go. Anyway, You know, so you only need so many carbs for the gym. And we need to keep our hormones stable and producing. All right. So you have to build your diet accordingly, you guys. And if you need help with this, top link in the description. It'll take you to my Natty Aesthetics program. It's a school community. Okay, check it out, watch the videos. This is what I help you guys with. We get leaner, we build muscle, and we do it naturally, and we keep our hair, and we keep our nuts. All right, that's probably the best part of the program, keeping your balls. So don't crash your test, your testosterone, by shitty dieting. Again, most men, I said most, not all, call them those titties. Most men do not have like truly low testosterone. Truly low testosterone. They have low energy availability. They're stressed out. Lifestyle sucks. Got too much body fat. They're not training. They're not sleeping. They're not getting enough sun. You fix these things, or you're just dieting wrong. All right, you're doing these stupid ass bodybuilding diets. You fix these things and you might be very, very surprised. Your body doesn't shut hormones down randomly. It's not like you're the lucky sucker. We're just gonna choose you. And we're just gonna shut your shit down. No. Testosterone responds to stress. Okay. Aggressive dieting is a stress. So how deep is that deficit? I know, like you looked at my last video, we had an aggressive deficit, but it was very short-lived. A lot of these coaches will put you on real lengthy, long-term, deep deficits without refeeds, without diet breaks. It's crazy, okay? So I know some of you are just itching, you want a gotcha moment. Oh, gotcha! In your last video, this is what you said. This is contradictory. Okay. So your testosterone responds to stress. Aggressive dieting is a stress. Low-fat dieting is a stressor. You combine that with overtraining tactics. So you follow what these druggies do. You're natural, and you follow their programs for training. You follow their diets. You're fucked. Okay, usually doesn't end well. Okay. So when you slash calories too hard for too long, keep fats low, and I'm just going to add some stuff here. Undersleep while you train hard, and long, meaning in the workout, 2-hour plus workouts. Stupid. When you do these things, and this is outside of lifestyle, right? If you're not even doing this stuff and you're just over fat and you're not training and you have shitty sleep and your diet just completely sucks, let's go, bro. Get in my community. Top link in the description. You got to unfuck yourself, okay? Like let's do this, man. Right? So again, this is like guys that are kind of like dabbling and doing these bodybuilding diets. But if you're not even like there, let's go. Like, tap that link. Let's get you in the community. Let's get you going the natty way, okay? So, you do these things because you're trying to get in shape. You're following these clowns, these drug addict clowns. Your body reads this as scarcity. So what's it going to do? The production, or not production, I'm sorry. The production of tests, but the reproduction system, it shuts down. It is the first thing to down regulate, right? Testosterone drops. It says, fuck this. But it's not because you're broken. It's because your body's suffering. It thinks it's dying. It's conserving. Right? So again, this doesn't apply to those of you guys that are not doing anything. But this is those guys that are trying to follow what the druggies are doing, and you're just stressing your body out and your body's not changing. You have to play a different game. And you're sending a very stressful signal to the body because you're following these workouts that are not for you. You're following those protocols, you're following the diet protocols, the bodybuilding protocols that are not for you. Okay. Again, it's different. You don't have the hormones coming in, the outside exogenous hormones coming in to help you. This is very important to understand, so you have to do things differently. So, before you think you need TRT, before you assume that you need TRT, and you go and you run to some scam telehealth clinic because they're abundant, they're out there trying to get you dependent, they're trying to get you hooked forever because you are a subscription, you are a lifetime monthly subscription for them. That's what they want. This is money, guys. They're not trying to help you. You're in your 20s, 30s, even 40s. They're not trying to help you. They're not trying to exhaust all efforts to try to boost your natural testosterone levels up. They're like, yeah, man, you got low T. You got low T. Yeah, we can fix that. Here's a shot once a week, every 2 days, every 3 days, every 4 days. Here you go. Here's all your drugs. And then it's forever. It is dependence forever. Is that what you want? So this is for those fence sitters who are thinking about hopping on. Exhaust everything else first. I mean, goddamn, get in my program first. Give me 6 months with you. We'll test your levels now in good conditions, right? Make sure when you test, we're in very standardized, strict conditions of what I want when we test and see what your labs say. Give me 6 months. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's change your lifestyle. Let's drop some fat, build some muscle. Give me 6 months, guys. Before you assume or think that you need TRT, you need to make sure your diet is good and you're consistent on that. And if you're over fat, you are dropping body fat, right? Because you have high body fat, it's not good for testosterone. So you gotta unfat fuck yourself, right? So your testosterone will increase. So you need healthy body fat levels. You gotta make sure you're training. You gotta work out, right? And you gotta do it the natural way. You can't do what these druggies are doing. It doesn't apply to you because that'll wreck you. So you gotta be smart. You gotta sleep, guys. I know a lot of you don't even care about sleep. It's hustle, hustle, hustle. You know, go to bed whenever, at 2 a.m. and then wake up at 4 a.m. and then just keep working and grind and don't worry about sleep. You can sleep later. It's stupid. That is stupid. So if you're not getting sleep for whatever reason, you're in this hustle entrepreneur mindset, or you have 4 jobs, what are you doing? Okay, you need to really structure your sleep and focus on how to get better sleep. This is one of the biggest wreckers of natural testosterone is sleep. Okay, there's a few things that we need to optimize, but this is one of them. Do not think it's not, because it is. All right, so there's a whole list of things that you can do before hopping on the bullshit. Most men are not dysfunctional. Most men are not dysfunctional. The body is going through conservation. It is conserving, so it shuts down your testosterone. And then, of course, you test it and you're like, oh my God, I'm so low in testosterone. I need to get on this monthly shot forever. Most men do not need TRT. And if, again, you're on the fence on this, you're on the cusp, and you're ready to make that plunge, and you haven't exhausted all other avenues, you need to. Because hopping on TRT does not make you more of a man. What makes you more of a man is increasing your natural testosterone levels, getting in shape, and being proud that your balls are working. And you're not outsourcing your testosterone to some shot. That's pride. That's masculinity. That's being a man. So you need to up your lifestyle game. That's what you guys need to do. Up your lifestyle game, and of course, do it the right way. Doesn't have to be me, but find a natural coach, a mentor that can help you. Because if they're truly natural and they preach it and their clients are natural, they're going to have a good system. Okay? Because you can't make errors unless they're like genetic freaks, which, you know, in this fitness game, that's what we see as far as influencers. You're seeing the genetic freaks on drugs or off drugs. That's the cream of the crop that comes at the top. So, okay, what about their clients? Find a coach who has a lot of clients who look like you, an avatar similar to you in their before photos. Do they have 10 of those? 15? 20? Are they truly natural? Is the coach truly natural? And do they have proof, not only with themselves, but with clients? So I'm not the only one. There are other great coaches out there, but you have to find someone who aligns with your ideology, not these drug addicts. And if you're thinking about going on TRT, I urge you to try all other options first. Get a mentor, get a coach, be held accountable to a really good diet, to a good training program, and see what that does. Because again, most men are not dysfunctional. Most men are not broken in their 20s, 30s, even 40s. Once we start getting in the 50s and 60s, 70s, but you got these young dudes in their 20s and their 30s hopping on this shit. Like, what is going on? That is crazy. And now you're dependent forever on a shot to make you a man. So, listen, guys, if you're sitting on the fence here and you're unsure, click that damn top link in the description. That descript, click it. It takes you to my school community. Watch those videos. You'll see more of what I'm about, who I've helped, my credentials. Join the Natty Aesthetics community. And let's up that lifestyle. Let's up your game. Give me 6 months, 6 to 12 months. 6 to 12 months before you hop on that bullshit and become dependent. The only caveat is you got to follow the program. You can't just jerk off for the next 6 months. You got to actually do it. You got to show up. You got to show up to the calls. Input your data. We got to look at your nutrition, your training, everything. But this is what a lot of you guys need. You need a mentor. A mentor who doesn't buy into the drug bullshit. Okay, so check that community out. Top link in the description. Don't outsource your balls. Okay, you don't need to do that. Produce your own testosterone. Keep those balls large and in charge.
Hell yeah!